Hey travelers, today we thought we would share with you how we came to Japan, the process and everything that we went through to get over here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
I feel like our journey to becoming English teachers started when we were actually dating. We both were accepted to teach in a summer camp program in Korea. And we went to the same college, and that's how we both heard about the program. We were already dating at this point, and we just happened to be able to go together and have this experience.
After having taught English for a summer in South Korea, it had always kind of been in the back of our minds as something that we wanted to do eventually someday, more long term, or at least in a longer than a summer. So after we got back, we got married, and then I graduated first, Kelly graduated a little bit after me. We started talking again about teaching English in South Korea. And so we started looking at jobs, and some jobs that we found we just really weren't comfortable with. There's so many private schools out there and so many after-school programs or just cram schools that you read about that the job security really isn't very good, or there's lots of different factors that come into play. So we weren't comfortable with that. We wanted to go through the government. We wanted to work in a public school system or something really close to it.
One day Caleb was searching on Dave's ESL Cafe, which if you don't know about it and you're interested in teaching English, this is an awesome resource for you. There's tons of resources like lesson plans and stuff for teachers, but there's also a lot of job postings for people that are looking for ESL jobs. So Caleb was on the website on the Korea job board.
I was looking for jobs in Korea, and I found this one that caught our eye. It was a private school program that had some teaching hours in the public schools. It included rent and utilities and good pay and all sorts of stuff like that. So that really caught our eye, and the hours were good. So I contacted the program, which ended up being Wakaksa English Program, and I think at the time that we originally emailed, it was in like the fall. So that's not when the school year starts in Japan. School year starts in April. So we kind of caught him in the middle of the year. And I emailed the director, and he said, right now we're full up, but maybe contact me maybe next year, and we can kind of look into doing it in the future. So I saved his email, I bookmarked it for the future, and just kind of kept it in the back of my mind. So a year goes by, Kelly graduates, so now we're starting to really do full court press on getting over to Korea. And we had started the EPIC program application paperwork to start to work in Korea. I remember, I had kind of forgotten actually a little bit about the Japanese program, and I can't remember how, but I remembered it. And so we emailed him again, and we started the process, and we got accepted obviously, and now we're here.
The way that we applied and were hired, it's so different from the process through JET. JET hires ALTs, which are assistant language teachers. My job is completely different from an ALT job. So it was kind of nice finding this school that offered that for me to work at a private school and to work in the elementary school on a daily basis. When you apply through the JET program, it is such a long process. I think it's over a year.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's very extensive. Concerning the paperwork and the hiring process to get us to Japan, so much of that was done by the Japanese on this side that it was really a smooth transition. We had to provide like typical stuff like passport photos. Had to go to the Japanese consulate in Florida, where we were at the time. But even that was all pretty easy. It wasn't like a ton of paperwork or fingerprinting or FBI background checks that a lot of other, well, when we did it with Korea, with the EPIC program, you had to provide that stuff. So we didn't have to do any of that.
I remember when we were applying through EPIC, there was this huge packet of information. I just remember Caleb coming home from work. He had printed off all the paperwork we needed, and it was kind of overwhelming.
And again, it's understandable. And you're moving to a completely different country, and they want to get the best applicants that they can. So it's understandable. But yeah, the company that we went through, it was just so much easier. They provided a lot for us that a lot of the other employers or companies or schools didn't offer. That it was just like a no-brainer to come here. We did have a couple interviews, like 2 I think,
for this program?
For this program, we had two
Yes.
interviews. We had a Skype interview, then we met in person. And again, it wasn't very stressful. It was pretty easy. Went out to Ohio because they have a representative in Ohio that does the interview process.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty easy. Initially, we worked under the same kind of umbrella, but now it's a little different. I work
Mm-hmm.
directly with the Board of Education in our town, and she works, again, more of like a cram
Private
school,
school.
after school program.
And you might be wondering, why didn't you just, apply for a private school position in Korea? Why were you afraid to do it in Korea but not in Japan? Our city that we live and work in is a sister city to a city in Ohio. We knew that there was more stability going in,
Yeah.
and we were more comfortable accepting a job position through this private institution here.
And another big factor, because we were married, we obviously had to get a job that we could both work in the same town. Because a lot of the jobs through JET are great for single people because they can put you wherever they need you.
Right.
Same thing with Epic or wherever. But since we have to work and live together, they had to be a little more accommodating to our situation since we're married, and they did that for us. So they provided us with a bigger apartment for two people and got us in the same city. Even though we don't work at the same school, they accommodated for us really well.
What was your first impression of working here in small town Japan?
I remember my first day at school. I was just didn't really know what to do. A lot of awkward silence. I didn't speak Japanese. I still hardly speak Japanese. Thankfully, I had really good Japanese teachers that made the transition a lot easier for me, that answered my questions, that showed me kind of around and kind of eased me into the day-to-day teaching business. After that first couple days of that kind of awkwardness, not really know what to do, I didn't have a lot of resources at my school that I could use, and I didn't have a lot of classes that first week, so a lot of times I was just sitting at my desk, just kind of twiddling my thumbs, writing or practicing some Japanese grammar. That first week was kind of tough, and I was like, oh man, what have I got myself into here? But after that first week, it was smooth sailing.
My situation was a little bit different. I still work with 3 other American English teachers. Obviously, we all speak English. So for me, it was really easy to adjust. We had a lot of help. They were super nice and kind, and they really showed that they cared about us and they wanted to help us adjust to teaching at this school. The Japanese teachers that work in our office, they also speak really good English. So I never really felt like I was drowning. I definitely was able to just come right in, and I found my place pretty quickly. When we were, contemplating all the different jobs that we have been looking at, and we were even offered a few in Korea. This was the only one in Japan. We just felt a lot of peace about coming here, and we knew that we had a place to come home to already. We knew we would be able to move in right away, and that was a huge plus for us.
As we said in other videos, the Japanese people are very accommodating, and they took care of a lot for us.
Yeah.
That I just don't know that we would have got in some of the other jobs or schools that we looked at.
If you have any questions about teaching English overseas, if you are interested in doing that in the future, let us know in the comments below. There might be some questions that we could answer for you.
Because we're married, I know when I was looking and doing the research to come to Japan, there's not a lot that I could see, not a lot of resources for married couples teaching English in Japan, Korea, wherever, overseas. So if you have any questions about married couples living in Japan or overseas, what that's like teaching English as a married couple, let us know, because at least, I think we might be able to help you in that regard.
If you like this video, as always, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe because we put out new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.